So we got some things to talk about. In terms of the news, there's a bit of gaming news. You know me, I am a bit of a gamist channel uh, before politics. But I do like talking about the gamer news, as it were. And this is one of those things that isn't necessarily near and dear to my heart, but I think I have an okay take on it. Oops. So here we have Jason Schreier. The California Department of Fair Employment and Housing has filed an explosive lawsuit against Activision Blizzard for discrimination. Some of the details in the complaint are horrifying. Which, let's take a look at some of these images. I have the lawsuit up as well to read through it a little bit for extra content, for extra context. But we see shit like defendants have also fostered a pervasive frat boy workplace culture that continues to thrive. In the office, women are subjected to cube crawls, in which male employees drink copious amounts of alcohol as they crawl their way through various cubicles in the office, and often engage in inappropriate behavior towards female employees. Male employees proudly come into work hungover, play video games for long periods of time during work while delegating their responsibility to female employees, engage in banters about their sexual encounter, talk openly about female bodies, and joke about rape. In another example, a female employee who worked at Blizzard Entertainment was assigned to a lower level, denied equal pay, passed over for a promotion despite multiple factors that suggest she earned it. 1, highly rated performance reviews. 2, she generated significantly more revenue in her marketing campaign than her male counterpart. And 3, she ran almost twice as many campaigns as her male counterpart. Despite her accomplishments, her male counterpart was invited to have monthly or weekly one-on-one meetings with the vice president. She was not afforded these same opportunities and, unsurprisingly, was passed over for a promotion in favor of her male counterpart. Similarly, other female employees at Blizzard Entertainment were assigned to lower-level roles, denied equal pay, and further delayed or passed over for promotions in favor of male counterparts who lacked the same experience or qualifications, but who were friends with the male head of the unit. A newly promoted male supervisor delegated his responsibilities to his now female subordinates in favor of playing Call of Duty. Other male supervisors would refuse to communicate with female employees going to their male counterparts for information. So this is immediately fucked up. This is immediately very, very fucked up. And Blizzard, now I don't know the full details of the story. I was actually kind of avoiding the story just a little bit. Not avoiding talking about it, just avoiding it for, spoilers, basically. But this is one of those scenarios that's like, yeah, you can't look at this and go, you can't really weasel your way out of this one. Being like, oh, there is no problem with, like, workplace abuse in America. Like, women have equal as men. No, they don't. No, they don't. They very clearly don't. There are lawsuits going around all the time. Even though there are equal laws in place, you still see shit like this happen all the time. Iced coffee, it's very good. It's, yeah, like, to not say this is fucked up, you'd be like a total monster. An Activision Blizzard spokesman sent me a lengthy statement calling the allegations distorted and in many cases false, and referring to the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing as unaccountable state bureaucrats. So this is interesting. By the way, Jason Schreier, for those who don't know, he does work for Kotaku. I think he's a freelance journalist. He's done a lot of writing for Kotaku mostly, though, as far as I can tell. And he's probably the best journalist in the games industry, period. Like, if there's anybody I would trust with any allegations, it is this dude. So let's talk about this. The DFEH, I don't actually know what that is. DFEH. Department, oh, that. I'm an idiot. Sorry, it's early in the morning. The DFEH includes distorted and in many cases false depictions of Blizzard's past. We have been extremely cooperative with the DFEH throughout their investigation including providing them with extensive data and ample documentation, but they refused to inform us of what issues they perceived. I'm sorry. What? Really? The DFEH refused to inform you that the shit that, like, this lawsuit says you did was wrong? You're either lying, or you're either lying about what the DFEH said about you, or you've lied to the DFEH. There's no in between there. Hang on. They were required by law to adequately investigate and have good faith discussions with us to better understand and resolve any claims or concerns before going to litigation, but they failed to do so. Instead, they rushed to file inaccurate complaints, as we will demonstrate in court. We are sickened by the reprehensible conduct of the DFEH to drag into the complaint the tragic suicide of an employee whose passing has no bearing whatsoever on this case, and with no regard for her grieving family. That's such a fucked up thing to say. Holy shit, I didn't even see that before. So I don't really want to bring this up because trigger warning. But there was a suicide in relation to sexual assault and harassment a female employee went through at Blizzard. And they're just like scapegoating. They're just using her as a fucking scapegoat. I genuinely can't believe that. I genuinely can't believe this is something any marketing or PR team or executive would ever say. This is like wildly ineffective damage control. This is wildly just gross and grotesque. This is not, like, that's not okay by any means to be like, hey, why are you bringing up a suicide in a lawsuit? What are you talking about? Of course they're going to bring up the suicide. It's a lawsuit. What the fuck? Why are you scapegoating them? While we find this behavior to be disgraceful and unprofessional, it is unfortunately an example of how they have conducted themselves through the course of their investigation. It is the type of irresponsible behavior from unaccountable state bureaucrats that are driving many of the state's best businesses out of California. So, no, they are in fact state bureaucrats. There is no way in hell anybody working for the state of California or the United States government would not have looked into this thoroughly and wouldn't have, like, when they get a lawsuit like this, of course they're going to treat the lawsuit as serious. Of course they're going to look at it as like, yeah, we really need to, like, investigate this in detail, and we need to do, like, real reporting on this shit. There we go. It's not that they're being unaccountable. It's not that they're being, like, irresponsible. No, they know exactly what they're doing. They're doing everything by the book, very clearly. You just don't like that they're doing everything by the book. Them doing shit by the letter of the law is getting you in trouble, and now you're angry. That's all this is. And that's fucking hilarious and sad. The picture of the DFEH paints is not the Blizzard workplace of today. Over the past several years and continuing since the initial investigation started, we made significant changes to address company culture and reflect more diversity within our leadership teams. I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. You've not given me you've given nobody any reason to say, oh yeah, like obviously this workplace culture has changed. The CEOs of Activision and the leadership in Activision have gotten significant, very, very significant bonuses every single year. Their workplace harassment, their crunch time, their crunch culture, this, I think it's pretty appropriate to call what's going on in Activision right now fucking rape culture. This shit has gotten CEOs rewarded billions of dollars. Under zero circumstance would you have any reason to change what you're doing. That's why I just don't believe what they're saying here. They don't have they've not shown me that they have ever had a reason to change their behavior. We've updated our code of conduct to emphasize a strict non-retaliation focus. Wait, what? Amplified internal programs and challenges for employee to report violations, including the ask list, with a confidential integrity hotline. Hang on, that first thing seems weird. A strict non-retaliation focus, that seems like kind of the opposite of what should be going on here. Like, women should, in fact, be retaliating against men in these scenarios, whatever. An introduced employee relation team dedicated to investigating employee concerns. The problem here isn't just that you have these systems at all. The problem is that these systems are either unregulated or they're controlled by the people who would abuse these, who would like go around these systems and do the abuse in the first place. That's part of the problem. We have strengthened our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, blah, 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 blah. Regular anti-harassment training and have done so for many years. If they've been going through regular anti-harassment training for years now, it clearly hasn't been fucking working. So, I'm going to take a bit of a different angle on this. I know that there's people who have been taking a pretty obvious angle every now and again, but I want to take this, and I want to take you back to the bittersweet, magical year of 2015 and 2016. Back when we had, a certain gaming movement that would have loved seeing shit like this in the workplace. If you don't know what I'm referring to, I, of course, am referring to Gamergate. Gamergate was if you're not familiar with it, it was a harassment campaign against games journalist Anita Sarkeesian, developer Zoe Quinn, and other developer Brianna Wu. I almost forgot her name. These were basically the big three figures in the harassment campaign. This is what people, these are the people who were getting targeted nonstop. And a lot of what they wanted, a lot of what the Gamergate people who were harassing these women were saying was not that like, oh, like they should die. No, they wanted ethics in games journalism. Because the big problem was that Zoe Quinn apparently slept with a journalist who gave her a good review, even though he never gave her a review. And Anita Sarkeesian was lying about video games and stealing money, even though she wasn't stealing money. She ran a Kickstarter, and she was just making a critique from a feminist angle and like making it more palatable for YouTube, because these critiques had been around for decades. But anyways, the point is, a lot of these same Gamergate types who would go around harassing women also started talking about shit like the wage gap. You know, when Obama and Joe Biden would talk about how the wage gap is a problem, how, 77 cents women earn to every man's dollar? The Gamergate types on YouTube would be the first to jump in and say, no, sir, actually, women have equal pay, they just choose to take lower paying jobs. You see, it's a freedom thing. Actually, this proves that women are more free than they would be otherwise. And I'm like, and the same thing could be said about rape culture. You know, I think the 1 in 5 statistic also cited by Obama and Biden. I don't actually know which one I'm saying there was cited by Obama and Biden. One of them was. It was a thing very clearly being advocated by like the president of the United States. It was obviously a serious issue, but YouTube chudlords would go around saying, no, actually. There is no rape culture. That's incorrect. Like, all of these rape statistics that, you know, college campuses are using, they're actually, like, not following the definition of rape. Despite when you read the studies, they actually do follow the definition of rape. So it was more or less people lying constantly about how bad women actually have it in the workplace and in the gaming space. And it's not surprising to me that this culture of gaming, this, like, the way that gaming has operated and the gaming community has operated for years now, the movement of gamers that have pushed for women to be further and further harassed, we're now seeing that in the workplace, sexual harassment and abuse is commonplace. Because it's not just happening here. Let me see if I can actually pull up the article. It's not just happening in Activision. It also happened at Ubisoft. Pretty much reports coming out at the same time, almost a year ago. As a cis male who's been sexually harassed and assaulted, fuck Blizzard. Indeed. So this shit is popping up in more than one workplace now. It's popped up in Ubisoft, it's popped up in Activision. Do not be surprised if we start hearing stories about 2K or EA or Rockstar with the exact same problems and the exact same kinds of lawsuits. Because this is the kind of culture that gamers have fostered. And it really is gamers. Like the guys who self-identify as gamers, the guys who go around being like, you're ruining my Mass Effect with your whammons. Like the people who have been pushing further and further to get women out of the gaming space. Obviously, it's not all gamers, but obviously, like, there are a lot of gamers who were part of the problem. I was part of the problem. I fell hook, line, and sinker for the propaganda. I was also 16, and I didn't really tweet or talk about it at all, but I, like, fell for it. It was very dumb, and I was very dumb, but, you know. Good fucking coffee. Oh. And part of the problem here, too, is that there's, off topic, but wait, is your background from Tales of the Neon Sea? I don't know. I picked it up, like, fucking 8 months ago and just put it in the green screen. I don't know, this is actually, like, an old background. I need to remake everything here. But, the other big part of the problem here is that the games industry isn't unionized. There's no unions. There's no holding anybody accountable. There's no laws against, there's no, like, big-time regulation anybody's ever faced in the industry. So, and let's not forget dudes like, you know, we talk about how this is, like, a new issue. Let's also never forget Randy Pitchford. Here. Randy Pitchford. I just want to put him on screen. I just want to put him on screen, man. This fucking guy. Oh, Randy. Is a huge Borderlands fan. Fuck Randy, too. Oh, you greasy piece of shit. You motherfuck. Come here, you. Oh, look at him. Oh, what a fucking greasy shitlord. Get fucked, Randy. But all of a sudden, you start realizing that, like, the critiques from people like, you know, Anita Sarkeesian of the games industry, that it is a boys' club, that women find it significantly harder to get jobs in the tech industry than men. You start realizing, like, hey, these critiques are all coming back to bite us. They're all, like, you know, it's almost like they're been prophesized. It's coming true now. And all of the people who were ranting and raving in the Gamergate space were pretty objectively wrong at this point. Oh, I got that image from a Reddit post, and I just want to read this out because this is amazing. Thanks, Randy, you barely legal squirty magic trick on a USB drive, medieval times profiteer off the backs of hardworking game devs, not noticing 10 grand off your credit card, lying low, rent-paying, magic pen, Gillette filleting, backstabbing, mole-narking, Sega-cheating, greasy bastard. Oh, that's from Civi. Oh, that's amazing. But this is the industry that gamers have fostered. These are the kinds of people who, because the Gamergate types are so anti-regulation, they're so anti-women, they're such chudlords at this point that we don't have unions, we don't have big-time, workplace protections against shit like this, and we're going to see this again. All of the critiques from the people who were correct, they're here. And not only is this getting people hurt, this is getting people killed. There are people who have committed suicide in Activision Blizzard because of the sexual assault. And at this point, all of the people who are still going around saying shit like rape culture isn't real, especially in the workplace, like tech workplaces, they are advocating for the deaths of certain people. You live in a right-to-work state. I couldn't even report my harassment and assault without being fired. Yeah, that's another big problem. There's right-to-work states. I don't know. I'm a Canadian, so I don't actually know all that much about right-to-work. I know they're fucked up. I know it's more or less just like you have a right to work. Therefore, if you don't like your job, get fucked. That's basically right-to-work laws. They're basically anti-regulation, like forcing anti-regulation in certain states, or deregulation. And so, like, these problems, they extend well beyond the games industry. Here, let's see this. TLDR right to work was used to union bust, but now it's just an excuse to hire people for any reason now that unions are all busted. Exactly. Union busting laws, that's what they are. Or to fire people for any reason now that unions are all busted. Yeah. I actually want to read this specifically. J. Allen Brack, president of Blizzard Entertainment, allegedly had multiple conversations with Alex I'm gonna butcher that name. Alex Afraziabi, former senior creative director of World of Warcraft, about his drinking and that he had been too friendly towards female employees at company events, but gave Afraziabi a slap on the wrist, i.e. verbal counseling, in response to these incidents. So, let's not forget this fucking guy. J. Allen Brack. I want J. Allen Brack to resign, and the email didn't change that. Current Blizzard developer. Exactly. When I talked with Bobby Kotick, wait, hang on. To assert his bona fides as someone who takes misogyny seriously, in the letter last night to Brack made reference to writer and second-wave feminist icon Gloria Steinem. Oh, fuck. So Brack is 100% complicit in this shit. He is part of the problem. He has taken big-time bonuses while knowing this shit's been going on. And so have other big CEOs. And, like Ubisoft. Let's see. God, this is kind of like a wall of text. I actually find it really hard to read. Okay, I'm gonna just look at a different article because I actually find that really hard to read. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot. Ubisoft Guillemot. Most of my abuse is always a higher up. It's the corruption of hierarchical power, IMO. It is. That's part of the problem. It's just that, like, there are zero checks and balances on these people. And you can see, like, hey, I'm not looking at that right now. In any other job, with like proper regulations, this dude J. Allen Brack should and would have fired these people immediately. HR is just liability aversion. Yeah. Like HR can't do shit. Like literally so many companies, even this company, even Blizzard, they were like, here, their basically response to this shit is like, we have an HR department. We can't have abused people. It's like, what the fuck do you mean? But Brack would have and should have fired people immediately. Instead of just been like, well, I'll give you a slap on the wrist, don't do this again. Personally, I was not satisfied. When I talked to Bobby Kotick about taking this job, one of the first things I mentioned was a revered safe of the Brack household, Gloria Steinem. Growing up, the value of women as equals, understanding. Yeah, that's like... This is basically just him fucking doing the I have a dream thing. It's like, I can't be a racist. I'm quoting the I have a dream speech. Judge me by the content of my character, not the yada, yada, yada. You know? Like, that's all this is. He's like, oh yeah, when I talked to Bobby Kotick, I was like, I quoted this one feminist who said, like I value women as equals. And I'm like, that means nothing. What are you doing about it, you fuck? Personally, I was not satisfied by it. When current Blizzard developer told Kotaku, I wanted to hear an explicit admission by leadership that we have a problem, followed by concrete steps to fix it. Instead, I felt like a bunch of empty words. Yeah. The part about Gloria Steinem was particularly confusing to me. J. Allen Brack worked alongside of Frisbee for years. Frisbee, I'm going to call him Frisbee, because he doesn't fucking deserve his real name. And it's hard to believe that he wasn't aware of his behavior. JAB, wow, that's a good abbreviation. J. Allen Brack is in that video calculating of a 2020 BlizzardCon panel, where leaders of the World of Warcraft team were extremely patronizing and sexist to women asking a reasonable question. I want Jab to resign, and the email didn't change that. I can't be sexist. I heard a feminist quote once is the new excuse I haven't heard yet. Yeah, that's basically what he's doing here. Here, let's see this Q&A. Because apparently in this video, they're pulling a bunch of sexist shit. There's even a timestamp. Oh wait, you can't hear it. Fuck. Hang on.
Guild for Cataclysm, because at that point they're going to want to stay together from there on out. Yeah, thank you.
I still don't think you can hear it. Hang on. Volume's a little low. Yeah, it's low on my end too. I can't really... The video. Also, OBS is frozen, so that's cool. If you can hear it at all, that's probably a good thing, but it's actually like really low in the video in general, and there's not much I can change about that. Oh, thank you for the follow, dude.
Hi there, Xantia from Kieran Tor. I love what you guys done with Little Crest. I love the fact that you have a lot of very strong female characters. However, I was wondering if we could have some that don't look like they've stepped out of Victoria's Secret's catalog.
Yeah, you can hear right away that just like, she's just like saying, I don't know if you could hear it at all, but she said like, can we have some World of Warcraft characters? Like, I love the game, but can we have like some that don't look like they've stepped out of a fucking, you know, underwear store? And at first there's cheers. Did the crowd actually boo? Yeah, at first there were cheers from pretty clearly the women. And then all the dudes were like, boo. This was 2010, by the way. This was pretty much the start of the Gamergate use. This would have been before Gamergate, but this would have been, you know, building up to it. Do I have OBS back yet? No? Cool. What is, it's taking up so much space here on my disk. Oh shit. Okay, this is very good. Thanks, OBS. You're doing great. You're killing it. Fucking great software. I'm gonna cry. Alright, at least I can see chat. Crash handler process. And there's a reason I'm using MKVs now. Every single fucking time OBS updates, ooh. Oh, we're back. Oh, we're back. All right. Yeah, I've turned up the audio all the way.
What do you mean?
My thing is, like, even if you want the cliche fan service, scantily dressed woman stereotype, does it really have to be every female character? Yeah. Like, there is a time and place. Like, to me, there is a time and place for fan service characters. To me, at least, that time and place is, like, fucking hentai. That's about it. That's all I really want to see it in. Because, like, when I play a video game, I'm not trying to beat my meat while I shoot a dude in the head, you know? I like seeing, you know, attractive women in my games. Like, I do. I don't think it's a giant problem. But also, like, does it have to be everywhere? I don't think so. I don't know. Anyways, let's see, there's a response to this.
Wait. Which catalog would you like them to step out of?
Alright, I see what they're talking about here. Oh, this was J. Allen Brack. Oh, wait, no. This was that dude, Afraziabi. And then Brack says, here, let's hear what he says.
Could you see Sylvanas looking any other way? Right? So, we feel you, and we want to vary our female characters, absolutely. So, yeah, we'll pick different catalogs.
Yeah, it's not surprising that, like, these idiots view women this way. Honestly, it's not surprising that, like, the people who view women as, like, yeah, you know, like, what else would they wear in a video game besides fucking underwear? They're women. Why would they wear anything else? We'll pick different catalogs then. I don't know. It's not surprising that these idiots have a fucking rape culture in their company. Not at all. I think that's pretty much all I have to say, though. Oh, God. He smirks, and the fan looks mortified, but the exchange continues. Brack, hey, Alex, what catalog is that Tauren female coming out of? Not one you'd read. Brack, sexy cow business. The Tauren are a cow race. That's gross. That's just gross. Like, you... I don't understand how you can just keep going with like a weird sex joke that is clearly making one of your customers uncomfortable. Like, I'm not gonna watch the rest of that video because it's cringe. But I don't understand it. You can just like keep going. You can just like consistently make people uncomfortable and not realize you're doing that. The fact is, objectifying women that way also leads to the abuse of males too, because it causes objectification of people. Yeah, that's the other big problem. Is this shit hurts men too. Like, if you normalize sexual abuse for anybody, you normalize it for everybody. That's part of the problem. Like, this shit doesn't actually, even if you're a right-wing dude, right? even if you're a right-wing chudlord who's just like, I want to grab people's asses, like, you're never going to get there. You're never going to be able to do that unless you are part of, like, the business insider, unless you are part of the elite in your workplace. You won't be able to get away with the workplace abuse. You will be the first to be scapegoated, and you'll also be abused. Like, the only people who benefit from this kind of power structure are the people at the top. You, a regular dude who still feels like, you know, whether or not you're correct in wanting to treat women like objects, which is not right to begin with, but even if you do want to do that, enabling this kind of system directly puts you in the line of fire as well. All right, I wanted to keep this segment relatively short. I think I've gone through basically every point I wanted to. My coffee is now done. So we're once again going to start playing Ghostbusters. And I'll BRB, and we'll get ready for Prime 2 Day.